Hello, and welcome to the Dream Team 2026 seminar. This is a little bit different than what we've done in the past. We've always kind of done an in-person one and we recorded it. We're going to skip the in-person this year and see how this goes, and we're just going to record this, send it out to you so that you can watch it at your own leisure, and you can hit pause and you can take notes and all that kind of stuff. And hopefully this will help you understand what we're doing. So first, let's talk about how Dream Team works. So many of you are new to Dream Team, and also super important, people that are veterans and have been here before, this is going to be different than any year that we've ever done. We are keeping score differently. So please make sure you pay attention to this particular slide. All right, first things first. One, we are still going to be on a team of 3 to 6 people. That doesn't change. That is what we've done last year. Before it was 2 to 6 people, but 3 to 6. And it has to be with the people that you work out with. That is also no different than before. So you have to work out with your people at least twice a week. Honestly, it should be every single time. But at least twice per week, you should train with your entire team. And one of those should be your weigh-in day. But honestly, you should work out with your team every time. That's what Dream Team is all about. This is where things get different. Dream Team score is it's always based off your initial weigh-in. So every week you're going to weigh in with your team and with your trainer. But that score always goes off of your initial weigh-in. So really in between weigh-ins are just kind of checks to see how you did compared to your first weigh-in. So the problem is almost every year there's a handful of people that it looks like they have initial weigh-ins that really are inaccurate. Sometimes good for them, sometimes bad for them. The reality is we use a machine that sends an electrode through your body and measures your body fat, and it is amazingly accurate actually and consistent. It does very well. That being said, sometimes it can give you a very odd, weird body fat, sometimes by like 3-4%. So what we're going to do to make sure that that does not mess up or give you an unfair advantage during this Dream Team is we're going to do an initial weigh-in, preferably if you can make it on that Saturday before Dream Team. If you can't, that's okay. You'll weigh in on your first workout day. Then we're going to weigh you in again during the week. Okay? So you'll weigh twice the first week. Then we will do your your first week check the next week. So you'll weigh in regularly. The next week you'll weigh in like you normally do. What we're going to do is if one of those weigh-ins seems to be very odd, like an outlier compared to your first weekly check-in, then we're going to delete the one that does not look right. Okay, that is at our discretion that run the contest. If it doesn't seem right, it's very obvious if it doesn't look right. Okay, so hope that makes sense to you. If it doesn't, let me know. Then you'll start weighing in every single week, all right? Just once a week. You won't weigh in twice a week after that, just once a week. You receive points for losing body fat, not pounds. You have to lose body fat percentages. So you can say, oh, I'm down 15 pounds. But if your body fat didn't go down, then you're not going to get points. So you need to make sure your body fat goes down. That goes down by eating properly and training properly. So here's also where things are different than we've done in the past. One thing that we want to try to eliminate is the temptation to kind of starve yourself and overtrain and start losing muscle mass. So what we're going to do to counter that is we're putting a limit on the percent of body fat that you can lose in any given month. I've set that at 3%. So in the month of January, you can lose 3% body fat. It does you no good to lose more than 3% body fat in January. If you lose, say, 3.5%, you will not get points for the 0.5. You'll only get credit for up to the 3. That is going to make sure that you are losing at a proper pace and not starving yourself. Then you can do that every single month. So theoretically, you can lose 12% body fat during the contest, but you can't lose more than 3 in any given month. All right? The next thing is you also get points for maintaining the extra lean category. That is no different than before. You get your quarter of a point, 0.25 points for maintaining extra lean. But this year we have a limit on how low you can go. Again, we want safe, and we want you healthy, and we want you strong. So women cannot go below 10% body fat. Men can't go below 5. If you go below that, you can, I guess, if you want, but you're not going to get rewarded points for it, okay? So if you're 10% body fat as a female and you go down to 9, you're not going to get any points for that 9. So just stay at 10 and get healthy and stay where you are, because that means you're probably looking really good. So no reason to go any further than that. All right. So total points, how you win. The team with the most points per person is the winning team of Dream Team. So what we do is we take all your points at the end, each person's points on the team, divide by the number of people on the team, and that is your average team points. The team with the most points per person at the end of Dream Team is the winning team. Every week, you'll be able to check out your score on the website www.blpfdreamteam.com. That is where your score will be. You can check that every single week as people are weighing in. Let's talk a little bit about our philosophy in weight training, cardio, and nutrition, and how we do things at BLPF. The number one thing you got to do is you got to listen to what I tell you to do, okay? Too many people really skip this step, and it's a really important step. We've been doing this for our 25th Dream Team. It's my 28th year running the gym. Come see me if you have problems. Listen to what I tell you to do. Keep things very simple and basic. Don't get bored of doing the things that work. Okay, that is what happens to many people. They start going on TikTok. They start talking to people. They start looking around. They find a new funky exercise. Please stick with the basics. Don't try weird things with your diet. Don't try weird things to get a good number on the scale. Just listen to what I tell you to do. Our philosophy that we're going to teach you is timeless, universal, and holistic. And what that means is it has worked forever. We're teaching you a way of eating that if your parents would have done it, it would have worked. If your grandkids would have done it, it would have worked. If your grandkids do it, it'll work. And if your future kids will do it, it'll work. So make sure you do what we tell you to do. It is universal, which means that it works for everyone. So whether you're young, old, male, female, fat, skinny, just listen to what we tell you, and we will. This will work for you. Holistic. This program is also holistic, which means this is probably the most important thing is you have to do all of it. Don't pick and choose things that you want to follow that I'm telling you. Do all the things I'm telling you. Do the cardio like I'm telling you to do cardio. Eat like I'm telling you to eat. Weight train like I'm telling you to weight train. Sleep how I'm telling you to sleep. Do the things I'm telling you to do. Okay? This program harnesses the power of metabolic precision. What that means is we're trying to increase your metabolism and turn your body into a better fat burning machine. If you do it the wrong way, you're always going to be fighting. You're going to be fighting so hard to lose body fat. When losing body fat should not be that difficult. But you've got to build your metabolism up first. If you don't, you're just going to be starving for every single pound. To me, I like to always give the analogy of it's like if you got money making, if you have your money making a bunch of interest and the money's just making money, compound interest, that's what building a good machine does for your body. Your body just starts burning fat. It's compared to like saving where you're trying to scrunch every dollar together. That's what it's like we're just trying to cut calories to lose pounds. It's not about cutting calories. It's about building a better machine, and we're going to teach you how to do that. Okay? You need to realize that people fail because they get hungry, and that just happens. That's why do you fall off? Because you get hungry and you want quick results, and your desire for short-term gratification outlasts or beats your term for long-term satisfaction. So what you want to do is you want to have those goals in mind that you want to do, and you want to start creating really good habits. And once you have good habits, it's going to be so easy to do. So what you want to do is one thing at a time, just start doing the things that I'm teaching you to do. Okay, so let's talk about nutrition. Step 2 of this program is nutrition. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to purge and pillage your fridge and your cupboards. What that means is you're going to go through everything you own, go through your refrigerator, go through your cupboards, reach way back there, deep into your cupboard, deep into the fridge, get all the crap out of it, get into your freezer, get all the crap out of there, the stuff that you know you don't need, and throw it in the garbage. Or if you're watching it before Dream Team starts, eat it now, get it out of the way, okay? Get rid of items that don't spoil, items that you always find yourself snacking on, sauces, dressings, etc. I always ask people, what's something that you really like is your downfall? Like, what's one of the things like, oh man, when I eat this, it's so tough for me not to eat that. Whatever that is, don't have it in the house, okay? Literally get rid of it. Don't have it in here, throw it away, don't buy it, then it can't hurt you, all right? Once you've thrown away all your stuff, all the craps out of your house, you want to replace all those contents with BLPF approved foods, especially the Fions. I sent you that list. You should have got an email. Said your grocery list, the Fions. I'm not going to go over all of these right now. The Fions are the foods that are essential for optimal nutrition. There's tons of quality proteins on there, as you can read right now. Give you a chance to read them. There's carbohydrates. We separate into what's called low energy carbohydrates, like fruits and veggies and legumes. Typically, these things are things that are not processed, not packaged, no label on them. You go in the grocery store and you get them, and they're basically eaten as they typically grow. Of course, there's a few exceptions that don't always fit this, but for the most part, like I said, it's your fruits and veggies, all right? The next thing is your high energy carbohydrates. These are the carbs that people think of when they think of carbohydrates. These are what high energy carbohydrates are. So someone says I ate too many carbs over the weekend. They're usually not talking about blueberries and broccoli and asparagus, right? They're usually talking about pasta, rice, potatoes, bread, etc. These are what's called your high energy carbs. You can have them, you got to eat them at the right time. And these are the ones that I like for you to have, are like your premium grains, oats, quinoa. Those are great. Ezekiel bread, sweet potatoes, and bananas. But you got to have them when when they're going to work well for your body, which we will talk about in a second. Also, don't shy away from fats. You need to have good quality fats in your diet. So the fats are the omega-3s. Most people do not get nearly enough omega-3s in their diet. You want to have them ideally with every single meal. Flax seeds, flax oil, fish oil supplement. One of the supplements I tell everybody they should buy is a fish oil supplement. But you also want to make sure you're getting your monounsaturated fats and your other fats. So, avocados, nuts. Again, you have to be careful with some of these. Make sure you don't overeat them. It is possible to overeat the fats, so make sure that you're kind of measuring them out and taking account to how much you're actually eating. Now let's talk about how to construct your meals. Now that you know what the good foods are and you have them, how do you construct your meals? Well, it's really simple, okay? Every single time that you eat, you should have three things in your meal. You should have, number one, based on a first-class protein. Those are the proteins I just showed you. Every single time you eat, every time, you say to yourself, where is my protein source for this meal? If you don't have a protein source for that meal, you got to get a protein source for that meal. Secondly, the right type of carbohydrate. Most of your meals, you should have a low energy carbohydrate. Go back and rewind and look at the slide of the low energy carbohydrates. So it's your fruits and veggies. With every meal, you should have a fruit or a vegetable. If it is after your workout, you can have a high energy carb. Okay, that's only in your post-training meal. So once you work out, you do a high intensity workout, that's when your meal can maybe have like a sweet potato, banana, oats, something of that nature. Maybe a whole oatmeal pancake or something like that. And then also make sure every meal has a quality omega, a good fat source, preferably a focus on omega-3. So again, just go back a little bit and look at the foods I told you that are the first-class proteins, the low energy carbs, the high energy carbs, and the omega-3s. And make sure that every single meal you eat, every single one, if it's a quality meal, it should have protein, it should have a carbohydrate, and it should have the right type of carbohydrate, and it should have a quality fat. How often to eat? I am a big fan. I know a lot of people like to do intermittent fasting. I understand that. It works for some people. I don't have a problem with that. If that's what motivates you and you like that, and you do well with it, by all means, keep doing well. What I teach you to do for eating is I like 5 or more meals a day. I'm a big fan. I'm a big advocate of the small, frequent meals throughout the day, roughly every 2 to 3 hours. I like to start eating roughly within an hour of waking up. And you want to eat about every 3 hours until you go to bed. I would make sure you try to eat something first thing in the morning. I think you always, whether you're intermittent fasting, not intermittent fasting, or whatever you're doing, you should always try to have a meal within 1 hour post-training, because that's when it's going to refuel your muscles, rebuild your muscles. You need that protein, those carbs after you work out. And then I always like to have something within a couple hours before bed. If you want, I eat literally like right before bed. I have like a shake or a Greek yogurt with maybe some peanut butter, natural peanut butter. You're not going to have that. If you're trying to lose weight, don't have that. I'm not trying to lose weight. So if I was trying to lose weight, I would not have the natural peanut butter. But I have like Greek yogurt and protein powder, maybe some PB2, maybe some berries, mix it all up, have like a pudding, or just do a shake. I have that about 2 hours before bed. So how often and when to eat? I like to say, I like to get 5 or 6 meals in a day, every 2 to 3 hours. But the number one thing is pay attention to what you're doing and keep track of everything that what you're doing. How much to eat? Honestly, this is where I think they really put too much focus on it. A lot of times I'll talk to people and they'll say, I'll say, what's your problem? What do you think you're going down? And they'll say, I think I'm eating too much. And I'll often say to them, eating too much of what? This is a conversation I've probably had dozens and dozens of times, if not hundreds of times, in my 28 years. And then when we get down to the nitty gritty and we talk about what they're eating too much of, it's usually crap. It's usually not, I'm eating too many. You know, Bill, I thought about it. I'm eating too much grilled chicken and blueberries. That is typically not what's going to make you not lose weight. So, but if you want to have a little bit more guideline of what to eat, protein, at least palm size portion of protein. If you want to figure that out for grams, like if you want to get your macros correct, if you're doing your macros, I like to get 1.5 grams per pound of fat-free mass throughout the day. If you don't know what that is, when you get your body fat checked and you look, we're going to break down what your fat-free mass is. Look at your fat-free mass and take that number, let's say it's 150 pounds, times 1.5. That is how many grams of protein I like for you to get today. You can go down to 1.25 for some. That might make more sense. 1.25 I'd be okay with. I really wouldn't go below 1 gram unless if you're cutting hard, I can go down to a gram, but I wouldn't like to go much lower than a gram. Okay, so somewhere between a gram and 1.5 grams per pound of fat-free mass. And then what I do is whatever that number is, you do the math and divide that through however many meals you're going to eat. So let's say it's 220 grams and you're going to eat 5 times a day. Take 220, divide by 5. That's how many grams of protein you should get per meal. Super easy to do. Okay. Low energy carbohydrates, those are big. Your fruits and veggies have at least a cup. It's not going to be too much. Eat literally all the vegetables you want. You cannot overeat vegetables, okay? If you're hungry, eat more vegetables. Eat broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, all those kinds of things. Omegas, try to have a serving with each meal. You want to measure that out like I just mentioned earlier. Don't, you know, if a serving size of extra virgin olive oil or flaxseed oil is a tablespoon, literally measure out a tablespoon, put it on your salad so you can see what it is, because it's very, very easy to throw 4, 5, 6 tablespoons of oil on your food. So you gotta be careful because that is calories you might be eating too many of. High energy carbohydrates, these are you're only gonna have in your post-workout meal. Okay, that's the only time you're gonna have them. I would start with about a cup, and I would always keep track of the amount and the source of carbohydrates that I have. That's the best way to do it. Here are some tips. Use plenty of seasoning. Salt is not a bad thing. Don't be afraid to use it. Use real salt. I like Redmond's real salt the best, but use good salt. Use ancient sea salt. Don't use that crap salt. Natural sweeteners and a little bit of natural sweetener in moderation is good. A little bit of honey, a little bit of maple. I put a little bit of honey or maple on my salad dressing, or sometimes I marinate my food with my meat with maybe honey or some maple. Be very sure to watch out for hidden fats and sugars and things like sauces, dressings, and drinks. That can get you. So you have to look at everything you're having. If you're putting something on your food, look at it to make sure there's not extra crap in it. Make sure you plan and prepare your meals. This is absolute key. Keep track of everything. Food logs, your steps, your workout. The more you track everything, especially at the beginning, I know it can kind of be a pain in the butt, but the more data you have, the easier it is to see where you're going right, where you're going wrong. Also, keep your before picture handy and look at it. I like people to make it their screensaver for their phone. A handful of people are brave enough to do that every year. Don't just take a before picture and go, ah, crap, that's ugly. I'm not looking at that. Look at it. That's what's going to motivate you, okay? That's what's going to, like, when you don't feel like doing something, when you don't feel like getting up to work out, or you don't feel like preparing your food, look at that before picture. That just might motivate you to do the right thing. Remember also that your body likes routine. Go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time, eat at the same times, eat the same template of food. If it's not exactly the same food, but eat the same template of food. Your body likes the routine, so make sure you're getting your body to a good routine. And it's easier to see what to change if you're in a good routine. Make sure you avoid the trans fats, the partially hydrogenated oils, seed oils. That's in almost everything that is prepackaged or overly processed. Get rid of those. Flaxseed oils are good, though. Some people get confused. They hear don't eat seed oils, so they don't have flaxseed. Flaxseeds are good. High fructose corn syrup is the worst. If you have anything in your house that's high fructose corn syrup in it, throw it in the garbage. Don't give it to your kids. Alcohol, I would love it if you just kick the alcohol completely out of your diet. I know most of you aren't going to get out of it completely, but I would love for you to give it a shot. And any overly just processed foods. Think about this. Look at potato chips. They don't grow out of the ground like that, right? They have to be turned into that. So that means they're probably not that good, right? So anything that's not in its original form, you got to look at and say, is that something that I really want to get? Cheat meals. I like to call them non-compliant meals. You can call them cheat meals if you like. I understand that, but you can have them. For some people, it's a good thing. So like an occasional planned cheat meal, like once a week, is not a bad idea. Like I've had some people that have done great at Dream Team where they would, eat perfect, 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 and then on Saturday night or Friday night after the weigh-in, they would, get pizza and eat three pieces of pizza. Kind of kept them like mentally focused. Like, hey, I don't have to do this for 17 weeks. I got to eat really good for 6 days. Then I get a little bit of a treat. The only thing I worry about that when people do that is that I worry that they're not making their actual food taste good. So always make sure that you're also not like suffering through the week just so I can get to my cheat meal. I get that because you're always going to like your meals that, everybody loves burgers, pizza, and tacos or whatever, all that stuff. But try to make your food taste good during the week so that it's not a chore. You shouldn't hate it. You should actually look forward to eating your good food during the week, okay? Be careful of the justification. Some people get very, very good at justifying everything they eat. They start going through a fast food restaurant, like, oh, I'm gonna get a grilled chicken sandwich and throw away the bun. No, that's never good. If you catch yourself justifying things, then you're probably not doing the right thing. So try to stay away from that. Just eat the things you're supposed to eat. All restaurant meals are non-compliant meals. Even if you're at a place that's really good, they have a Heart Healthy, and it says, hey, this is all good stuff. I love these places. I love a lot of these. I know these owners. I love the places. I like to go there. If it's an occasion, I'll go there. But for the most part, you are not back there. You're not purchasing, preparing, and cooking that food, so you do not know exactly what they're doing. Okay. Which is my next point, is to purchase, prepare, and cook your own food. And most people need to get it right about 90% of the time in order to be successful. So make sure you're doing that on a regular basis. So that means you can allow yourself just few little mess ups a week, but there's not room for very many mess ups. Okay, so let's talk about the motivation about what is going to help you actually do better during the Dream Team. Because the reality is you're going to go through periods of excited, then like partway through you might go, oh man, we still have so many weeks left, and so the motivation could go up and down. So I think the number one thing to staying motivated, not just for 17 weeks, but really like your journey of for life, is you need to discover your why. Why is this important to you? And so many people skip this step, and it's got to be the most important thing. Why are you doing it? It's so simple. It's just a simple question, but so few people actually take the time to actually ask that question and then really, really think of what their answer is. So your why doesn't have to make sense to anybody except for you, okay? So it can be a health reason. It could be, you're tired of being the fat friend. It could be you want to show your kids how to, how fit you can be. It could be a million things. But you have to find your why. It has to really, really, really be your why, not what you think other people want to hear, but what is your real why. If you don't know what that is, that means maybe you have not had what's called your snap point yet. And what is your snap point? Your snap point is simply when you realize, like, you see something and say, I'm sick and tired of this nonsense. And that's why I'm a big fan of taking a before photo. I think it's crucial because it's a lot of times that is where you figure out your why. So realize that picture, then when we're gonna take a before picture. You got to take a before picture. It's really critical for your success. And understand that when you look at that before picture, all that before picture is the sum of all your decisions up to that point. So if you want to change what that picture looks like, you need to change your habits and change your decisions, okay? So, and you're going to find there's lots and lots of reasons not to do something. There's a lot of reasons not to go to the gym, a lot of reasons not to get up early, and a lot of reasons not to prep your meals. But what you need is that one good reason why you are going to do it, okay? Forget all those reasons why not to. What's the one reason that's going to keep you going? All right, and also remember that the alternative to this is a disaster. You know what the alternative is. The alternative is you gain weight and you're not healthy and you don't look good, and you don't feel good, and you don't perform good, okay? So we got to make sure that we're doing that. Okay, let's talk about weight training. All right, so weight training is really simple. So many people, they make it way too complicated. Understand that in weight training, basics are best. You need to stick with the basics. Don't try to be fancy. Don't try to find new ways to do things. The basic exercises have worked forever and they still work, okay? Obviously, you work around injuries or things that bother you, but for the most part, you stick with the basics and you're going to do really well. Incline presses, work your chest no matter who you are. Squats, work your legs no matter who you are. Okay, lateral raises, work your shoulders no matter who you are. So when you're weight training, always the focus should be on maintaining perfect textbook form, and trying to get stronger or get more reps. So either add more weight or more reps is always the goal while maintaining that same proper form and that great mind-muscle connection. The goal is not to see how tired you can get yourself, okay? So many people get this, they have it all messed up. It's like you don't have to sit there supersetting everything, running from exercise to exercise, doing a whole bunch of things. You do your set hard, you take a break. When you get your muscle feeling back and you're focused again, then you do your next set, okay? And you don't need a lot. Intensity is the key, not duration. Cardio. So cardio, I think you should include two different types of cardio into your plan. You want to do a high intensity cardio and you want to do a longer duration cardio, which is a shorter intensity. Because remember, if you have your intensity goes up, then the duration's got to go down. Okay, so it's a yin yang kind of thing. So I like you to do a couple, maybe 2 high intensity cardio sessions per week. You can change that as you go. Maybe you'll need 3 or 4. Maybe you don't need any, but 2 is a good place to start. High intensity would be like our max OT training, which will teach you on those bikes that you'll see in the cardio room. It's like a sprint style workout, like under 20 minutes. You want to do that twice a week, okay? And the goal there is getting your metabolism up. And then I'm also a big fan of doing like a lower intensity, maybe every day or almost every day, like a good long walk, like nice 30-minute walk every single day. Super great for you. So you keep moving. You got to keep your body moving, okay? That's super important. Cardio is just meant to burn calories, okay? And the best kind of cardio is the kind that you actually do. But you want to rely mostly on your diet, and your weight training is really what's going to make your body better and make you burn more calories. Cardio is just an addition on top. Let's talk about supplements. So I'm a big fan of supplements, especially some of them I think are crucial to your results. The first one being a good quality protein powder. I like to have a good whey protein isolate, complete whey protein isolate. It's also easier on your stomach for a lot of people. I always have a whey protein isolate very first thing in the morning, and then immediately post-training. If you take BLN Recovery, which you should, okay, that is the recovery drink that we sell that you'll see people, it's on the shelves, people taking after they work out 1 or 2 scoops. That has whey protein isolate in it. So you want to have that right after you work out. I recommend that for everybody in the gym. Your protein in between meals or before bed, I would recommend BLN Complete, which is also the one we sell. We have chocolate and vanilla. It's absolutely delicious tasting, the best vanilla you're ever going to find. And I would have that, like I said, in between my real food meals, like you have breakfast, BLN recovery shake or BLN protein shake, complete. Have lunch, then a complete shake, then dinner, then a complete shake. Okay, that's the way I do it. All right, so have that. It's a great. You can mix it with berries, you can mix it with milk, different ways you want to do it, but it's a delicious shake. Supplements continued. There's carbohydrate powders. You would think you need a carbohydrate powder, and maybe some of you don't, but most of us, we actually do, especially right after you work out, post-training. You want to make sure that you're getting whey protein isolate and a very, very, very super fast digesting carb. That is what is in BLN Recovery, okay? It's dextrose and whey protein isolate. That's why we put that together. Throw some creatine in there, which I'm going to talk about in a second. You have a perfect post-workout recovery shake. Also, what I like to do, and you don't have to do this, but I like to get carbs in my second meal after I weight train also. In that one, so I like to buy like an oat powder or a sweet potato powder. You can buy them online, and I just mix that right in with my BLN Complete Shake for my meal after my workout meal. Okay, so that's a good way to get your extra good carbs in during your workout window. Other supplements would be creatine, which I just talked about. 5 grams a day for most people's ideal. 1 or 2 times a day. You can just take 5 grams after you work out. That works for most people. That's the easiest way to do it. I would take a multivitamin, multi-mineral as an insurance policy. Even if you're eating right, there's a good chance that you're missing out on some essential vitamins and minerals. So take a multivitamin. Fish oil. I'm a big fan of taking a fish oil 1 or 2 times a day. Take the most potent one you can. I like 2.5 grams of omega-3s per serving. So, or 2,500 milligrams. Sometimes it's written in milligrams, sometimes in grams. Vitamin C, I'm a big fan of 1,000 milligrams a day, especially during your cold and flu season. I would definitely during this time of year in Meadville when the sun's not out very much. I do it year round, but especially during this time of year, I think about getting a vitamin D supplement. Usually that is with vitamin K2 also. They work best together. So your vitamin D supplement ideally should have vitamin K2 with it. And I like to have like 5,000 IUs of vitamin D. Some say you can go more. Don't be afraid to have like up to 10,000. I take magnesium first thing in the morning with my electrolyte drink, which I'll talk about in a second. And then I always take magnesium before bed as well. And if you want to get some energy for your pre-workout, I'm a big fan of taking anywhere between 100 to 300 milligrams of caffeine about 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes before you train. You can do that through coffee. You can do it through a pre-workout. You can do it however you want to do it. But right around 100 to 300 milligrams, you'll have to play around with your tolerance and see what works best for you. Other supplements to strongly consider, I mentioned magnesium earlier. I take it in the morning with my electrolyte shake. And then I have like 200 milligrams there's lots of different forms of magnesium. I take magnesium glycinate before I go to bed. And then also some people like collagen. I've never actually experimented with collagen before. I think there's a lot of good science behind it. I just have never taken it. And electrolytes, I'm a big believer in taking electrolytes first thing in the morning. So when you start your day, the first thing you do, just get up, take an electrolyte powder. Usually it'll have like magnesium and potassium and sodium and maybe some other things in it. Throw it right into your shaker bottle, maybe 32 ounces or so of water, and drink that very first thing in the morning before you have your coffee, before you have your pre-workout, before you do anything else. Have those electrolytes. Let me go through a sample day for you. Okay, so this would just be a sample, easy day. Start off your day with a vegetable omelet. And if you think about it, and look, as I'm going through each meal, I want you to think about your protein. Remember way back in that earlier slide, go back and look at it again if you want. You want to make sure that you have your first class protein, the right type of carb, and a quality fat. So if you have your vegetable omelet, your eggs, right, there's your protein. The yolks in the eggs, or you can also maybe use extra virgin olive oil in the pan, there's your fat. And your veggies are your low energy carb. A protein shake with frozen berries, if you use BLN Complete protein shakes, ours has flaxseed ground into it. It's another reason why it's so good and everybody should buy it. Have a protein shake mixed with frozen berries. Your protein is obviously the protein source. The frozen berries are your low energy carb. And your omega-3 would be the flax seeds in the BLN Complete. Lunchtime, spinach salad with salmon and an EVO-based dressing. Your protein would be the salmon. Salmon would also be your quality fat, which has omega-3s in it. I throw a little bit of EVOO for more fat. And spinach and other veggies on there, of course. You throw peppers, cucumbers, tomatoes, all that kind of stuff. That would be your low energy carb. Then have a protein shake with maybe an apple or another piece of fruit of your liking. So once again, kind of like that meal number 2, your protein would be in the BLN Complete would be your protein source. The flax seeds would be your omega-3 and the fruit would be your low energy carb. And then maybe for dinner, you have some steak and veggies. Your steak would be the protein. Your vegetables would be the low energy carb, and you could maybe have a fish oil capsule with that, right? That would be a good way to get your omega-3s in. And then before you go to bed, you can have yogurt with berries and honey. Yogurt, and just like a nice bowl of yogurt, and you can put a little bit of BLN Complete, get a little more protein, and get your omega-3s in there. Sprinkle some blueberries on there, a little dash of honey, and mix around in kind of like in a bowl, like a pudding, and have that before you go to bed. So let's say that you worked out in the evening, okay, and your post-workout meal was that meal number 5. You could throw maybe a sweet potato or some rice in there, right? That could be your meal. Or maybe your first real meal of the day is that meal number 1 because you work out so early in the morning. Maybe you throw a little bit of oatmeal or some, you can put some potatoes in there, or maybe, I don't like bread so much, but you could do oats. You could do maybe oatmeal pancake or something like that, okay? So there's lots of different carbohydrates you could have right there. So, and then same thing with the middle of the day. If your middle of the day meal falls after your workout, maybe you could, again, put some rice, put some sweet potatoes, something like that. Hope that makes sense. So this is just a little do this, don't do that kind of chart for you to look at, just kind of study, because this just some things that I see people get wrong. So do this, eat more often, do not starve yourself. Do this, eat foods that used to walk around or swim or grow from the ground, don't eat processed meats. Eat foods in their original form, how they grew from the ground. Don't eat things with lots of packages, boxes, and a bunch of ingredients in them. Purchase, prepare, and cook your own food. Don't eat out at restaurants so much. Drink lots and lots of water. Don't forget to hydrate yourself with electrolytes too. Don't drink so much alcohol. Do this, add spices, and please learn how to cook. If you can learn how to cook, it's going to make your life so much better for this journey that you're on. Don't add creamy sauces and dressings and other hidden fats and sugars. And focus on eating the right foods. Don't worry so much about macronutrients in your portions of the good food. Again, because if you only eat foods that are on the FEONS list that I sent you, if that's all you ate, if that's all you ever put in your mouth was food on this FEONS list, I really don't see how you could fail. Okay, just eat foods that are good for you, and your body uses those foods well, and you'll be very successful. And finally, I just want you to enjoy the journey. I want you to have a good time. I think you're gonna like it. We have a lot of fun. If you ever need anything, you make sure you get a hold of me. I should probably put my email on here. It's blnsupplements@gmail.com. Make sure you talk to your trainers, talk to me. Try not to just talk to everybody in the gym and try to find out what to do. Ask me. That's why I'm here. And we have a really good time. That's the goal, is to have a good time. So I want you to have a fun time with this. I want you to change your life. I want you to create habits. I want you to become the best version of yourself that you can. And I want you to be healthier and perform better. And I know that we can all do this together. So good luck to you. And if you need anything, let me know.